This project is here for families like yours. Today with me, I've got Andrea Buckley, who is a mother, and she is here to share her story. It's not an easy story to share, so I really respect the fact that you're here with us today, and I admire what you're going to do today with us.
Thank you.
So I would like you to tell us a little bit about Lou. Who was Lou? We want to meet him the way he was, what he liked. Tell us a little bit about him.
Lou was 27. He was born with congenital hydrocephalus. He had epilepsy. He was hemiplegic, and he was also autistic. He was a life and soul. He was a cheeky chap, full of character. Once seen, never forgotten. He was just a beautiful soul.
Yeah. We can. You shared with us some photos that we're going to put around so people can see Lou and feel him and get to know him. You did tell me about his conditions and how his life was, but can you tell me about the toys and about his sensory world? What was there for him?
So Lou was really, really into his sensory enjoyment. So that would be anything that would make a noise, banging on tables, things that would go towards his mouth. He used to like to use his hand and tap his chin so he could make different sounds and noises. He was he didn't like a lot of things near his head, so things that went on his head was not really a thing that he really, really liked. So anything in his hands is what he really enjoyed to do. And he would have numerous items at home, at day centre, at families' houses. They would range from sleigh bells to the tubes that make the funny noises to sensory balls and toys and fidget toys.
Amazing. So many different things. So he went to this day center, you said? Yeah. So it was in the day center that the accident happened, isn't it? Are you happy to tell us a little bit more about that day? Maybe how it went for you and for him, what actually happened?
Yeah. So it was Wednesday of the summer of 2023. Lou had gone to day centre like he always does. It was the day before we were flying on holiday. So it was drop him off at the day centre and I went home to do my
packing
last bit of things. Yeah, as you do. I received a phone call round about, I think it was about 11 o'clock, 10:30, something like that, to say that Lou had had a seizure, which is perfectly normal for Lou because that was part of who he was. He had seizures on a regular basis. Except for this time, they said that they couldn't get him out of the seizure. So they'd had to call for an ambulance to come and help him. So as this was nothing unusual, I did what I did, which was knowing that I was going away the next day. There's a possibility Lewis wasn't going to come away with us. So I phoned my mum, asked my mum if she could have him. That was all fine. And off I went to the day centre. When I arrived at the day centre, I was greeted by a paramedic and one of the managers of the centre. The paramedic explained to me that some of the other ambulance crews were working on Lewis, which straight away I knew was not the right tone of phrase to be using because they've never had to say that before with him. So at that moment, when I asked the paramedic what she meant by working on him, they said giving him CPR, which straight away was alarm bells. So I went into the day centre and the paramedics at the time were helping Lou to get some breaths while the machine was doing the CPR for them. He had lots and lots of paramedics. He had 2 ambulances of rapid response. A poor trainee paramedic was there as well. They were all doing what they were doing. Then an air ambulance came with the doctor and a senior paramedic, and they came in. They managed to get Lou's tube down into his airway so that they could bag him. They did manage to bring him back slightly, so the doctor was very happy to take him to the local hospital. So he went in the ambulance to the local hospital, and the manager of the day centre took me to the hospital. In this time, I had to phone my husband to tell him that Lou was really, really poorly and it wasn't just a seizure. So whilst at the hospital, while we were waiting for the doctors and nurses to do what they needed to do with him, the day centre manager explained to me what had happened. He'd been for a bathroom break before dinner, and when he come back from the bathroom, he looked like he was having a seizure. So they got him out of the seizure like they always do, and he always liked a cup of coffee after his seizure. So after he'd come round from his seizure, they'd gone to get the cup of coffee for him, and it was that then when another member of staff noticed him sat in his chair where he always sat, that he had gone blue straight away in the lips. So they got him out of his chair and realised he wasn't breathing, so then started performing CPR, which was really unusual because he'd never done that before with any of his seizures.
Yeah.
So we're waiting in the family room, and what felt like a lifetime, a doctor came and told us that they found what the problem was. When the anaesthetist was putting his tube in, which was longer than the paramedic's tube, he pulled an object from his throat, which they say is a standard thing, that they usually find something in the throat. But the object was a ball that was sitting on top of his vocal cords. So it had gone right down. They managed to pull it out without any damage to the ball, and that is the ball that they pulled out. It was that size, but over the time it shrunk, but it was that size. So they said they'd never seen anything like that before in the time that they'd been there and doing what they were doing. So that was a real shock at the time of how.
So they haven't seen similar cases before, have they?
No, they said they'd always seen food.
Yeah.
Or other little bits of pieces, but never anything like that.
Yeah.
And sitting as low down as where it was. They said it was instant. That's why his lip went blue straight away. It was just instantly, that is airways.
Yeah. Completely blocked.
Yeah. Was gone. Yeah.
No air in, no air out.
Yeah.
Do you know sort of what could have happened? How could that ball end up where it
Unfortunately, there's only Lewis could tell us. He had a tray at the day centre which had all his objects on, and he'd had them for all the time he'd been there. So he'd been at the day centre for 3 years, and they had a big tray, and that was Lou's tray, because he had his own little chair looking onto all the other service users, and usually was laughing at some of them doing stuff and things. And they said this was one of his favourite things. He used to do that with it. Or
produce a sound.
Yeah. Or he'd bang it on the table, or he'd throw it and things like that. And we don't honestly know how it ended up, because Lou didn't understand the concept of biting something. So if you take that as an example, if that was an apple Lou wouldn't know how to bite into an apple. So the fact that he would have opened his mouth to put something in
wasn't like him.
No, because he wouldn't have done that. And he's never really been somebody that put things in his mouth.
Yeah.
So the only thing we can think is possibly somehow it's got sucked in, possibly when he had his seizure, and if he's had it near him and it's inhaled, and because of it being like it is, and she squeezed it, it's gone down. And Lou was good at trying to bring things up.
Yeah.
But every time he must have tried to bring it up.
His throat muscle.
Yeah. So like a snake contracting.
Yeah.
And it's gone further and further down.
Further and further down, all the way to his vocal cords.
Yeah, to sit on top of his vocal cords, that's where it stayed. So they were very, very lucky, and probably because of it being like the kind of material that it is, that is why the paramedics at the centre were able to get some sort of air in with their tube, but the anaesthetist couldn't get his tube in there because of the blockage. So yeah.
What happened then? So he was in the hospital and they've taken it out.
Yeah.
It was after that was taken out, the damage was already done to his brain.
Yeah. So unfortunately, he was admitted to the high dependency unit at the hospital, where they looked after him for 6 days and tried everything they possibly could for him. They did everything they could, but when he got transferred to the hospital, he was already showing signs of brain damage, which they were hoping would possibly not be because of his epilepsy. They were trying to see whether it was his epilepsy or the brain damage. But unfortunately, he'd started developing twitches and little tics, which apparently is a major sign of brain damage.
Due to lack of oxygen because of that ball.
So from the minute that ball went on his throat, he was never coming back to be Lou.
That's okay. It's okay. It's not an easy thing to do.
So I think we kind of knew, and as a mum, you kind of know as well. So as a family, we all kind of knew that things wasn't going to be the same again. But you have a little bit of hope that there's a possibility he will come home to us. But I knew deep down in my gut that this would be the time that he wouldn't be coming home. He spent 6 days fighting, because that's what he was. He was a fighter. He fought for everything, always had. And he spent 6 days fighting, and he went for numerous tests and scans, and that's when they found that there was brain damage, unfortunately, and that was showing. So he went for an MRI, and because he was so poor, then he was on life support. All his organs had started failing, and he was slowly deteriorating. And the doctor at the time just asked if we were happy of them getting him comfortable, because he took a turn for the worse while he was having his MRI scan. So when he got back to the ward, they were doing everything they could to keep him comfortable. I spoke to the doctor and just said, if we're trying to keep him alive for us, to just let him go, let him become comfortable. Yeah. So they did that, and then he died He died with myself my husband and his brother by his side. And we held his hand and his brother kissed him goodbye. And that was Lou gone from my life.
He lives on with his legacy.
He does.
And that is something that you are doing, something that you're so bravely doing today and other days as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud that we can get you here and get that message shared nationally and wider.
Yeah.
So what would you like this to be? So what would you like Lou's legacy to be?
Lou was a life and soul. I always knew I had him for a reason. He was given to me for a reason. Just didn't realise it would be once he was gone. That was his reason. That was his purpose, to make a difference. And what I want from Lou's legacy is to put that knowledge out there about awareness of how dangerous something so simple can be. You know, you look as a parent, as a carer, as a provider of whatever, you look for the age ranges and the risks, and you see the circles saying 0 to 3, so you think it's fine. Lewis was 27 and he inhaled a ball that killed him. So that's a mission for me to make sure that we do things, and Lou's legacy I want to develop as a charity so that I can do more of these kind of things, do more talks and go out to provisions and provide leaflets and support for people so they have an understanding that, you know, this is not something that could.
That we could collectively do better.
Yeah.
Because our children, young people, adults like Lou, they deserve better.
Yeah.
And this is a way to know and start and do it.
Yeah,
better.
I really want to get it national. I've done lots of things like local, but I really want to get it national, and I would love to be able to get it down to Parliament to get some sort of petition or some sort of recognition and get the standards
like this
to kind of be looked. Because if you're shopping and you've got somebody who wants something so quickly, you're not going to look for whether it's
all of the labels.
Yeah,
small,
and you look at the tiny little detailing of all the small writing. So I would even like to develop a traffic light system on toys, whereas you do it with food and everybody knows red's not good for you, green is great. Why can't we have something like that is with toys, so that if people see a traffic light system, they know that is a risk, not just a risk for somebody under 3, but a risk in a whole because of them little things.
Kinds of risks. Yes, for example, because these items like this, they're very cheap, very available.
Yeah,
you can get them very quickly in a lot of different shops online.
You can get them online. You can get boxes of 15, 20 of them for £10. They're perfect this time of year. You get loads of them around, especially for Christmas, you know. And then also because they're directed at neurodiverse people,
sensory toys,
they are so available in every shape, form that you can get.
Yeah, that is a big topic and something that we can discuss further. But I would like to ask you, what's your message to all the parents, to all the people who are watching this? So professionals, educators, those who work in children's centres, people who are interested in it, and mainly families. What is your message to them?
Just to be extremely aware of what your young people, your young adults, your whoever they are using, and if that would be okay. I know his day centre that he was at have brought in a policy that they do allow balls under a certain size to be there they're not allowed, so they're very, very aware. So they scrutinise all the
Get better
sensory
choices.
Yeah.
And make choices that are better for people.
So they don't have that risk again. And also that people are aware of choking. So like now the day centre also, every staff have to have first aid and have the understanding of what a choking risk is. Lou couldn't tell you that there was something stuck, but he's shown the signs, and thank you to the fast acting staff there. He managed to last for 6 days. Otherwise he would have gone there and then.
Yeah.
So
prevent what we can, and then what we maybe cannot prevent, to know and be equipped to help.
Not to have my mission is if Lou's story can save one more person, then that's all that needs to be done, because then I don't want any other families having to go through what we've had to go through since losing Lou. So it's just
a very good mission to have. Yeah. So Lou should have been still with us.
Yeah.
And this is not something that should have happened to anyone. No family should go through this. And I believe sharing this story, giving people the knowledge, gives them a choice, gives them an idea that they have a choice between two things.
Yeah.
And how to choose the right thing.
Yeah.
So that's what this course is about. That's what this video is about. That's what the project itself is about. So this is the first step in making it better.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for sharing something that's so raw and so painful. I don't know if pain will ever go, but you are making an absolute mission out of it. And I admire your will to do that.
No,
thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.